This is the crazy story about how I got my stolen bike back 6 weeks after it was taken. Hey guys, Josh here again with Daily Mountain Bike Rider, and the fact I'm making this video is pretty ridiculous considering 6 weeks ago I thought my bike was gone forever, and most people told me it probably was. Now, before we jump into how I got my bike back, which is a ridiculously crazy story that ends super well, we need to go back to how my bike got stolen. If you follow the channel, then you know I posted a video about things I wish I knew before my bike got stolen, and I didn't actually say how it happened. And the reason is because I wasn't actually responsible. You see, I let a friend borrow my bike, Isaac. He was storing it in his garage where he stores his other bikes, including his mountain bike, his full suspension bike that's really nice. And there's one problem with Isaac's garage door opener, and that's every now and then when it closes, it hesitates and ends up going back up. So when he clicked to close it at the end of the night, instead of checking it, it actually went back up and stayed open. And that night, my dirt jumper, which cost about $1,200, got stolen. And the fun fact is that Isaac's full suspension bike, which is nicer than this bike, was sitting right next to it, but the rear wheel was off, so the thief took this bike alone. So Isaac let me know. I made a video about it. I posted about it all over social media, trying to see if we could find my bike, and I didn't hear anything. Now, jump forward to just a few days ago, literally 6 weeks later, I get a message on Instagram from one of my followers named Colin. Colin says, "Hey Josh, I don't know if you'll see this, but I saw your bike is posted on OfferUp." Now, I'd been checking Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace because I know that's like the two primary places people sell things. So I replied back, "Hey, do you have a link?" Because actually I've gotten a lot of messages from people saying, "I found your bike, here's a link," and it doesn't match up. It's a different color, it's a completely different bike, it just wasn't it. So Colin sends me the link, I click it, and instantly I realize that's my bike. They didn't change anything. It's the same paint color. All the upgrades are the same. I mean, I have an NS bike, which is a Polish-based brand. They make dirt jumpers and they're really well known for it, but there aren't a ton in the States. And then along with that, it had FSA gradient cranks, very boldly in the picture, and my FSA gradient bars and stem. These are my sponsors. This was my bike. And to totally top it off, and Isaac had put on a black grip. So I had one green grip and one black grip on it. And in the picture, it showed it perfectly. So first, I freaked out. I replied back to Colin on Instagram. I said, "Colin, you are a saint. Literally, this is my bike." So go to Colin's Instagram, give him a follow, say, "Dude, thanks for helping Josh. He made this video possible." So I jump on OfferUp and I noticed a couple of interesting things. Besides the fact, yes, it was my bike. Secondly, the guy put his name as Josh, which is my name. I thought maybe he knows this is me, and so he's trying to act like it's me selling the bike and do a cover up. So of course I made a new account, made a fake name, put up a fake picture, all that. Second thing I noticed, or third thing really, is that he actually put his phone number in the title. Now, OfferUp doesn't allow this, so they took it away, but they let you know this information has been taken down. So I knew this guy probably wasn't too bright, or he really was just looking to flip this bike as soon as possible. So in my fake account, I sent him a message, "Hey, this looks great. I've got $700 cash." That's how much he was selling it for. It's worth about $1,200 retail. He knew what he could get for it. And I said, "I would love to meet up as soon as possible. I want this bike." And I didn't hear anything. Now, after I sent that message, I called the sheriff's department where I filed my original stolen bike claim and let them know, "Hey, it's being posted for sale. It looks like this guy's in Bellingham where I live and he wants to meet up." And they were awesome. I got in contact with an officer who literally, this is what he specializes in. He contacted the guy as well on a different account and he said, "Hey, we're gonna get your bike back." So that was in the morning. That was Wednesday morning, I believe. No, it was Thursday morning. And we waited all day and nothing. At about 4 o'clock, that sheriff officer called me. He said, "Hey man, I'm going off my shift. We'll do this first thing in the morning." Not 20 minutes later, the guy gets back to me on OfferUp. "Hey, where are you located?" And then Colin also let me know, "Hey, this guy got back to me." And then my other friend who'd sent him a message was like, "Hey, the guy got back to me." And I told him, "Don't reply to him. I'm gonna be the only one." So I reply back, "Hey, I'm in Bellingham. I'm working right now, but if you can meet up, I'll meet you anywhere. I have the cash, let's do this." This guy was super sketchy. He didn't want to meet me anywhere I offered him. All he wanted to know was where was I at? Where did I work? How could he find me? And if you're buying something on Craigslist and it seems too good to be true and the person's being really sketchy, they probably are. They're probably trying to sell something stolen or they're just a sketchy person. So I told him I worked at a Mexican restaurant named Jalapenos that was right down the street from my house. So I tell him I work there, and then he says, "What's your number?" So I gave him one of my buddy's numbers who actually was with me, who was trying to work with me to get this bike back. And then all of a sudden, the posting was gone. Now, while I'm talking to this guy, I called the sheriff's department. They said, "Hey man, that officer went off duty. We just don't have enough officers right now. We have some big stuff going on. We can do this first thing in the morning." I knew that wasn't gonna work. This guy sounded like he was desperately trying to sell it to get money. So I called the Bellingham Police Department, the city, because I'm actually outside the city limits. And I said, "Hey, here's the situation. I'm trying to meet this guy. Will you please help me get him?" And they said, "Yeah, we'd love to." So they say yes. The guy takes down the offer of posting. I literally get to the point to give him my number. I'm like, "Okay, when do you want to meet?" He takes down the posting. I thought maybe he got spooked. Maybe he sold it to somebody else. I mean, my heart sank. And here I'm on the phone with the police. They're ready to meet up with me to get the bike back. And now I got nothing. And the officer says, "If you hear anything, let us know. We'll jump into action." So an hour and a half goes by. I think the bike's gone. I'm like feeling so bummed because I was so close, but there's nothing we can do. And then all of a sudden I get a phone call and I see it and I go, "Oh my gosh. Hello?" He goes, "Yeah, is this Cameron?" That was my fake name. And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm outside Jalapenos where you work right now. Can you meet me?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "The kitchen's slammed right now, man. I'll be out in like 5 minutes." Hang up the phone, instantly call back the Bellingham Police Department. I'm like, "Guys, he's outside Jalapenos right now. Can you meet me down there?" And I just hear, "Guys, let's go get this dude." I'm like, yes, these cops were awesome. So I jump in my car, I drive down. I literally am like making a video, like, I gotta document this somehow. Like, I'm so stoked right now. Oh, I'm so stoked right now. Yeah, I was pretty stoked. And so I get down there. They told me, "Hey, park in the back parking lot. Just kind of lay low. We'll tell you to come around once we get your bike." Then the guy calls me. He's like, "Hey, I'm sitting here." I'm like, "Yeah, come to the back door." He never came to the back door. He never showed up. Well, there's more than one restaurant in Bellingham called Jalapenos, and this guy is so not smart, dumb, that he went to the wrong location. So at that point, I was like, I got cash. Can you meet me at the one I work at? I get off in like 15 minutes. And he's like, "You got cash?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, I'll come over." So at that point, the officers were parked around the corner. They had another officer with them, and they said, "Hey, do you want to sit an officer in his car? You guys can go back in the corner of the parking lot you were at, and then we'll get this guy." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to see how this goes down." So we go and get into place, and just a few minutes later, all of a sudden, we see the vehicle the guy says he's driving pull in, and he calls me. He goes, "Yeah, I'm here." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I see you. Turn left, turn left. I'm in a black truck right there." There was like 4 of them right there. And I said, "Yeah, just pull into the next spot." So he pulls into the spot, and it's actually like 2 stalls away from my actual car. We'll talk about that in a second. So he pulls in, I hang up the phone, the officer next to me calls the other 2 officers. They pull in, block the guy's car, walk up to the window, open the door, get the guy's ID. And sure enough, this guy he had a felony charge. He had a warrant out for his arrest because he violated probation. He actually had meth on him, and of course he's trying to sell a stolen bike. So they instantly handcuffed this guy, put him back in the back of the police car. He actually had his girlfriend or lady interest with him. Now she told the officers that it was actually her bike, that she had traded one of her friends who owed her money, that she told him, "Hey, this bike looks too nice, you probably stole it," but took it anyway, and was trying to sell it to get money for rent or for groceries or something, which is still illegal. She's trying to sell stolen goods, and so they handcuffed her. She actually went to jail because you can't do that. Now, while all this is going on, and this is taking some time to get this guy in the car and talk to the girl and get the whole story, the police car arrived and the officer's like, "Hey man, I gotta go. Just go ahead and walk back to your car. I know it's right next to where this is all taking place. But don't worry, they're not gonna be worried about it. They're gonna be more worried about the fact they're going to jail." So literally I kept my head down, went back into my car, sitting there, and that's where these shots came from. Literally, I'm sitting in my car, 2 stalls away from where this is all going down. I can hear this guy smashing around in the back of the cop car. I hear this girl trying to make up this story, and I'm like, how in the world is this happening? And so the police officer who's helped me out the whole time, who was the first one I contacted, he knows I'm sitting in my car. He's just playing it cool because he doesn't want them to know who I am, even though they could be watching this video now. Sorry. Anyway, so he lays low. They get these guys handcuffed and put in the car, and then they start to take pictures of my bike. Now, I think I mentioned I did not have the serial number of my bike, but I clearly had documented in video the upgrades I made, my FSA components on my NS Movement 1 frame, and they could tell right away based on the description I gave them this was 100% my bike. So they take pictures of it, and then the officer gives me a call. He knows I'm right over there. He goes, "Hey man, we got your bike back, totally yours. Go ahead and pull around the corner. I'll have my other officer bring it back to you." And the best part is I see the other officer who I hadn't talked to yet. I said, "Oh yeah, can you make sure he like tries to pull a wheelie or two on the way around the corner?" And he just starts busting out laughing. He's like, "Dude, he's gonna hurt himself." I'm like, "Oh, he's on the job, it's fine." These officers were such good dudes, man. They helped in everything. They jumped into action. Pulled around the corner, the police officer came up. He's like, "Dude, you described your bike perfectly." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, it's like it's mine." And took the bike home and was so happy. So I got my bike back, awesome story. And I think the best part about this whole story was not just that my bike popped up, but that the Bellingham Police Department, along with the Sheriff's Department, were 10 out of 10. These guys leapt into action. They were excited to help me get my bike back, and they were excited that somebody who was doing crime, trying to flip a bike, doing something wrong, that they could have them face the punishment they deserve. And it's not like they were like out there sticking forward and they wanted to hurt this guy or anything. No, they wanted to treat this guy how he deserved to be treated and take care of me, and I cannot thank them enough. So a couple takeaways from the story. Number one, if you lose your bike or it gets stolen like mine did, no matter how it gets stolen, don't lose hope. Keep checking on Facebook, Craigslist, and of course OfferUp, and see if somebody tries to sell it, even if it is a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months later. You never know where you might see it. And the other big takeaway I found is if you are trying to get a stolen bike back or your stolen property, don't do it alone. Try to contact your local law enforcement. I hope that they are as awesome as the Bellingham Police Department and work with you in order to get your stuff back and keep you safe while they do it. So I'm pretty excited to get my bike back. And I also realize that some of you watching this video aren't as lucky and haven't gotten a stolen bike back. And the truth is, this really is a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing. Everyone I've talked to has been like, "Dude, this is crazy. This doesn't happen. Bikes don't come back." And I count my blessings. I'm super thankful, and I'm stoked to be able to share that with you. If you like this video, click that like button, and feel free to leave a comment, even just to say, "Hey man, I'm happy you got your bike back," because that helps other people see this video and celebrate the fact of the good guys won, the bad guys lost, and I got my property back that was stolen. All right, that sums it up. You know what time it is. Don't spend too much time watching a guy talk about how he got his stolen bike back. But get out there, ride your bike, and make sure you do it every day.